And how are you this morning? It is, oh my goodness, October 2nd, 2024. It's Wednesday. Hello, Peter. How are you feeling today? It is our new word. Good morning, Stacy. How are you feeling today? Hello, Lisa. How are you feeling today? It is raining here. Hello, Angelina. Hi, Azim. Oh, wonderful people. How are you guys feeling today? So let's get the show on the road. It's 8 o'clock. We can't waste the time, can we? Hey, here we are. Good morning, Colin. Stacy, good morning. So let us do this because we need to do this. The friendship, right? The word of the year is friendship. Now, I know, we talk about it a lot. But what I wanted to say is that this is the word for our year. How is it working for you? We know that. We started September with the word friendship. What changes have you made towards your friends that you have? What have you said to them lately? What have you done? Have you speeded up or you have left it the same way? I know when COVID came around, it really messed up friendships. It took friendships to another level. It brought them down. We seem to have associated friendship before COVID to connection in person, connection on phone or whatever, all these different forms. But when COVID came, we seem to have just froze. And yes, it was devastating, and it still has effect today that is killing us. Because what we did with COVID, we stayed in our little cocoon, which was what we were supposed to do. We were scared. And we couldn't connect with friends. For one thing, too, our distances apart. We have such huge distances. It's not about connecting. It's about how the world has changed. We didn't know that before. But when I come to talk about friendship, I'll always do this once a week because that's our word, and to remind you, and if I get pushed by the energies to do it more than once, I will. We have to look at friendship to go back. We must look at it from the time of old, right? Go back. All of the great philosophers talked about friendship. They too had their dear friends. We love, in some cases, looking at English shows. They always go back a bit. And they show you the connection at the pub, the connection of the neighborhood. But that is how it was. So, it's true, we have families and friends we grew up with and neighbors that we were close to. The world was smaller. We saw them, we spoke to them. Can any of you remember your mother or grandmother going to meet the neighbors and they had tea and they had cake, but they knitted, they spoke, they crocheted, they might have cooked together, or they just sat and had tea? For us to do that today, we need to phone and make an appointment to tell my friend, I'm coming over. And sometimes that friend is so confused, they don't know what to do. Should I cook something? Should I have some tea? They don't know because we have lost the touch of that. Our mothers and grandmothers didn't lose that touch. They knew exactly what to do. Some of us fostered it, but COVID came and it forced us to wipe it off. We took it off the slate. We just took it off. And we left friendship alone. But friendship is not only having a conversation or calling that person because you have a headache or calling that person because you have a toothache. There was a young woman from Scotland that I worked with. Her name was Frances. And she was a little bit younger than me, but she gave me a nice blue vase. I still have it today, and I still occasionally call her and just say hi. I must have been 23. Frances Boyle was her name. is her name. She's married now, so anyway, it's different. But we have that connection that we will call, and the minute we start laughing. We don't see each other because she lives far, far away, but we FaceTime. We do WhatsApp. And then we will not get on a train and pack a bag and go meet our friends. But that is how it was before. They made movies about it, The Girl on the Train. I write about that because I love writing stories that are different. And this one is a mind trip. It's an imagination that became a reality for this person in the story. But the friendship is that person that you can show up with without making too much of a big fuss, and they will realize a cup of tea and a comfortable place to sit is good enough. My friend would say to me, I didn't come to see how clean your house is, I came to see you. That's a friendship. Are you coming for tea? That's a friendship. But when the friendship becomes a change, and the change perhaps could be because a new lover has set on the planet, in the movie, in children, grandchildren, people have come. I remember when my grandson, who's going to be 16 next year, used to come every summer for 10 full weeks. I couldn't do a lot of things with my friends at night. I had the freedom to do it before he started coming. But once he started coming, I couldn't take him where I would go. I couldn't be with him and be with them. So I stopped that. But I always found the time before and to let them know and then match it. The thing is though, he's 16. You think he wants to hang around with grandma? No. So I had to step aside from the friendship to have that relationship and that thought with him and to create those memories. So when you have to shake up a friendship because you need to create new memories with your younger part of the family, you have to do that. The important thing though is to tell them why. I need to foster this relationship with this child so that when they hit the wall or the wall hits them, they can remember who was the person that told them they were okay. You're good enough. Because we all need that. What sustains us now is the words that are spoken to us by friends or family. You have come across many people. I have, because I go around talking all the time. And they will say to me, Miss, if I got an A on my report card or I got a D, it was the same thing in my house. One of them said to me, Miss, I wish you were my mother. I said, I can't, because maybe you wouldn't live to be a year old. Because I would just, really hit you. Not physically, but my thoughts, my words would just stop you. And he said, well, how did you discipline your son? Because he was a young man. I said, I had to go to him and talk with him. I had to tell him what is going on with him. I had to let him know I stand there. But if you were to speak to Michael today, he will tell you that I favored the teachers over him. I didn't. But when he was wrong, I told him that. So he has those little things and he will remember. And I was stern. But when this needed to be celebrated, you tell them. And the same thing you do with your children, grandchildren, you need to transfer that to your friends. You need to let your friend know how important they are to you. Not because you are not important to them. You sometimes, on Saturday I went to a health food store to get some stuff. And I was talking to a young lady there about getting garlic oil. And somebody heard my voice. Sajid heard my voice and he came towards me. And he started talking. He said, I heard your voice. I knew you would. I had to just follow the voice. Sajid came to work with us at the bank as a security guard from India. But Sajid, you could see he had something more in him. Today, He's older. We gave him opportunities right there in the branch because we saw it. He is now a friend. If I pick up the phone and I call Sajid, he answers immediately. So when he did his thing and he got promoted, became all over what he is, he always shared the journey with me. And when he saw me, he said, you have to come to see the new mansion that I built. And I went and he took me through this. But this house is, every floor has 1,800 square feet from the basement to the second floor. It's magnificent. It is beautiful. Did I have a part to play in that? No, I just told Sajid, you're good enough. You're better than a security guard. You need to be a teller. And when he was successful as a teller, I moved him to be another step and moved him another step. And then he got moved to another branch. So when I look at his journey, I feel really happy for him. But I know I will say to anybody, I pick up the phone and I call Sajid. He say, yes, Tessa-Marie, what's going on? That's how he answers the phone. When we got back to his car, he said to me, what do you think? And I said, you know what, Sajid? If somebody had told me you would do this, I would say there's a possibility, yes, because you've got it in you. I noticed that you always had bigger ideas than that. And you pushed, and you came to win from India, and you have won. This is where you are. What next? And he looked at me. He said, give me a year to breathe, Tessa-Marie, give me a year to breathe. But he is maybe 20 years younger than me. But he is like a friend. He will say, let's go to dinner. He'll call the others. So you get friends along the way. But if you have a friend or you notice that the friend is not realizing that it is a one-sided relationship, you do not have to call them upon it. You have to keep being you. What does that have to do with Sajid? It has nothing to do with Sajid, except there is another one that also got his hand held to the point where he would have lost his job if I hadn't taken him and purposely put him and made him uncomfortable in a new position, just so he can thrive. He reminded every one of us about the parable in the Bible. He did not turn back to say thank you to anybody along the way. He never did. So we never called him upon it. We just let it go and said, this is our job. That was our responsibility. I was given this challenge. Fix him or I'll fire him. That was what my VP told me. I moved him from his comfortable little desk and I put him right next to the receptionist and I said, go and thrive. He didn't like it. I said, do it for 6 months. When the 6 months was over, he chose. I said to him, okay, you have to give it up. No, he liked it. He saw he could grow there. And I think he still sits there. For some reason though, the only thing I can tell you is that, there is Sajid, right? Remember Sajid? And there's this guy with this name that is so famous. Michael Jackson is his name. So this Michael Jackson person, is still in the same spot. Do you wonder why? He couldn't say thank you. He couldn't share a smile. He didn't step up to help another. And there, he was already in the position that Sajid had to work from security guard without a gun. When we had a confrontation with a customer, he would step out. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at the customer. I'm going, you're not going to win, are you? I didn't say that to him, but I could see, you're not going to win. But he still came up, can I help you, sir? Because he thought the person was attacking the female staff. So there he got moved from the door to behind the counter. From behind the counter to a private desk. From a private desk to a higher private desk. To becoming a manager of financial services, to move his way up to becoming a manager, to be now in charge of a mortgage sales force of 40 people. That other guy that couldn't turn to all of us that stood by him, fear, he has a wife and a daughter, of him not losing his job, never said thank you. He didn't have to say thank you, but he should have said thank you. Our job is to do our best. That is why do not let people's behavior change you from being somebody you're not. We could have pulled him up and said, you should say thank you, but we didn't. Colin knows that. We didn't. We let him thrive where he was. But the thing, if you look at people that cannot turn back and be grateful, like the lepers, the people in the Bible that only one came back to say thank you. Sajid is the one. Sajid is the one. He said to me one day, I walked towards you and my hands were in my pocket, and you said to me, what is wrong with you? What is your hand doing in your pocket? You're a salesperson. Loosen your body. You need to attract money. He said, I'll never forget that. The other one, no matter what we poured into him, it was like they say in the Bible, it couldn't be filled. It had a hole in it. He couldn't turn back and say thank you to anyone. He's still in the same position. He never moved. He couldn't move because he didn't move of himself to shelter, to smile, to say thank you, to show up for somebody who is going through grief. He never did that. But Sajid, he showed up. He showed up all the time. And you wonder why he's blooming? The world is his oyster. So when your friend is taking a one-sided type of attitude, do not fight with them. Do not get angry at them. Because when we do that, we are becoming them. And we are letting our something outside of us change who we are. And life is from the inside out, not from the outside in, no matter what somebody says about that. You can choose to leave the outside alone and dwell inside to find out how you need to function on the outside. Are you guys with me on that? You need to go inside for you to know how to function on the outside. If you do not do that, you will always miss the mark of functioning on the outside. Friendships can do that. What you can do, if you're not sure, is ask the friend, am I a good friend to you? Or, why are you my friend? And maybe you're the one that is not balancing it off. Although I said it is not transactional, I still mean it. But, and I believe it, but for our highest good, it should have some transactional in it. We should empty our cup every now and again into a friendship so that our cup is full again. If you have roses, you need to cut off the dead ones to confuse the rose bush so it's blooming. If you have a friend, you need to let the friend know, I will move the weeds so you can see how fabulous you are. And if you do not know what to do and you think it's okay, that's for you to pick up the phone or send a text or an email and dump on that person. That's not good enough. It's not okay. So I hadn't got Sadish's email address, and I said to him, I need your email address. I sent it a note. And he didn't see it. So I said to him, I sent another note. No, I called, and he answered instantly, what's going on? I said, I sent you a text. I need your email address. I can't find it. He sent it right away. I'll send it by text, he said. I said, well, that's exactly why I sent the request. My reason for wanting his email address is to take my time and write him a note. Because I know where he started when I first met him. And I am seeing where he's at. and I have no idea where he will go. But just in case, somewhere along the line, there's a misstep, I am trusting that what I will say to him in that email will help him to stay focused and to hold on. Because, life is yin and yang. So that's what friends do. You see where that person is, and you see how exhausted it can be, especially if you happen to be a mother that is now mothering your children's children. That's a hard journey, but sometimes it happens. So you see that in the friend. Do not do like some people who told me, why does Micah have to come for 10 weeks? If he has 10 weeks off, he should, why? You don't have a chance to do anything. But what they didn't know was the conversations that I had with him that I remember. And then the other day he said to his father, I still remember Archibald Soursop and Daisy Soursop. He still remembers the stories that we created while he was trying to tell me he should sleep in my bed and I should go to his bed because his mattress is harder. And he said, the reason you do not want to go there, Graham, is because it's not comfortable. And maybe I didn't know, but that was his bed and he had to go in there. That was his room. But I have that. When I think of him, I think of he introducing me to SpongeBob SquarePants or whatever that was. And I had no idea what a Krabby, whatever it was a Krabby something. And I remember this little person walking next to me with my iPad under his armpit. He couldn't even leave it in the car, walking into the butcher shop when he said he wanted this crab cake. Because it was in SpongeBob. He said, I want you to buy me crab cakes. And I go, what are they? I said, where do you get them? He said, at the butcher. They have it right there. I said, fine. So we always went to the butcher because he loved bacon and his mother is vegan. So you can imagine what I did with bacon and eggs for him every day. And then, so he walks into the butcher shop, iPad under his arm. And he's walking. He comes to the end of this long counter and he points to hamburgers. I had no idea what he was talking about. So then the man looked at me and said, well, how many do you want? He said 4. 2 for today and 2 for tomorrow, and we can do it on the barbecue. So that's what, he's like 6. But that made me smile. And he remembers that. And that is what it is. His best friend is my niece, Michelle. They spent summers with me as she used to come, any excuse to come to Toronto. And they would eat a pound of bacon in one sitting and half a dozen eggs. And that, they have that friendship. She always checks in on him. And he is now awkward, 16, checking, oh, okay, fine, nice. But the other day when I spoke to him, he told me, I always remember cousin Michelle and how she made my breakfast. Friendship. You have to take your friend to the place you want them to be by showing them how to behave. Now, I don't know what I will be guided to say in that email to Sajid, but I wanted to let him know I see you, I hear you, I acknowledge your success. I am so proud of you. Not because I bent you a little bit and I pushed you a little further, just because you kept going until you get to where you are and you seem happy and contented with your 3 children, turning to me and says to me, I emulate you so much, I have 2 girls and then a boy. I emulate you so much that I put a Muslim and I put up a Christmas tree. And if it's good for Tessa-Marie, it's good for me. My children are Canadian, they need to know that. So we need to take friendship a little bit closer and look at it. We cannot tell our friends how to reciprocate, but we can continuously be ourselves, and that will help them one day, just one day. You pick up that phone or you pick up a thank you note and you say thank you for being there for me. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for laughing with me. And most certainly, thank you for crying when I am crying. Thank you for telling me this storm will pass. So, you see, your friend cannot say that, but you can. Or no, you know you can. So can you do that to that friend that you feel you're giving more to than you're receiving from them? Can you do that? Write it with your fingers and a pen. Write it. Make the effort. Go to a post office and buy a stamp and send it. When you do that, you might trigger something, and maybe not you, maybe not towards you, but you have pushed a string. You know, like when you're crocheting and you hook and you hook and you hook. And that person, that friend, that takes and does not give enough, and we are human, so you're going to feel it, even if I say it shouldn't be transactional. But now you send that little note to him, to her, she might say, you know what, that is so sweet. I should send this to my sister. I should really send this to my brother or my cousin or my friend. You know, we've been friends since junior kindergarten. What about that? So you just sent it because you felt like sending it. How long does it take to write a note? Not very long. You can make it interesting. Write it while having a glass of wine or a cup of tea. But always say, when you send it to them, not because you want them to acknowledge you and send it back. I hope not. If you receive one of those, do not send one back to the person who sent it. Send one to somebody you are friends with that you haven't expressed how you feel about them. That person that is the Sajid in my life, that you have like the Sajid in your life. I pick up the phone and I'll say, Sajid, I need to find this or that. Okay, Tessa-Marie, I'm on it. I'll get you back. That person in your life. Can you do that? I haven't looked to see all of you. That's not a good idea. Riri and Yuko and Terry came and Terry doesn't last long. Loretta and Lorna, thank you guys. And Stacy and Ellen. Good morning, doing well, unbelievable, Stacy said. And this is so true, so important. Stacy says, Stacy, how are you kids and family doing? Even if you don't ask about, I always do, because it's important. Thanks, Ellen. It's really important to know how, to ask about this person's family. The person is your friend and you can say, how are you doing? And that's not enough. Because that's why we changed our word last year from how are you doing to how are you feeling. I want to know how you're feeling. I don't care what you're doing. You're not a human doing. You're a human being in the moment. And if you're being, you will feeling. So that's what we have to remember. The friendship that you have, that you notice is transactional. Do not let that behavior cause you to change the magnificent human being you are. Remember, you're amazing, beautiful, and spectacular. So that person's behavior is harsh. They do not see it. They find sometimes a way to criticize you. Not because they want to, but because they do not know anything else. And they want to gossip. And yet, you want to say, physician, heal thyself. Take your own medicine, but you can't. You have to take it and bow and be you, because being you means you're not going to criticize them. But when you change your skin and you become a herd, member of the herd, choose that herd carefully. If you're accustomed of doing and giving and allowing, and you're not getting that back, don't be. I heard somebody once said, well, they just have to take what they get from me. And I'm thinking, did they ask you for something? No. So then why say that? Why talk like that? Guess what? That's your life. These are your words. So if you behave like somebody, you're becoming what you do not like. And that's why they have all these little cliche little sayings. What you do not like to see on the street, you might find it under your bed because you're going seeking it. So, friendship. You cannot buy them. You cannot do anything with them. You have to develop them. And you have to recognize when it is important to keep that friendship going, because so many times we allow the world outside of us to dictate the kind of friend that we are to each other, especially when the world is on fire like it is now. So there's always something good in somebody. And if you cannot bring it out, then leave it covered. Do not bring out the worst of a friend to another friend. Walk away, avoid it, and see what happens. But remember, this is friendship here. Do something about your friend. So let me go and check these things out. There's so much to ignore. And if you guys are still, let me see who is here that I can. Stacy and Ellen and Yuko and Lisa and Colin and Dawn, my sister Kathleen, Luana, Loretta, and Bridget. So thank you all of you for joining and dropping by this morning. It's amazing. Love the memories of grandmas are so special. They are. Riri from Japan. And this is so true and so important to do you, and don't worry about what others are doing. No, you can't. I have friends that I call and always ask, how are you doing? How are you, your kids and family? Even if they don't ask about my family and they don't going to change me. No, you do not let it. Hello, Kathleen. You're a special Grammy. As always, a great conversation. Friendships are very important. I learned along a way. We cannot feel like we have ownership. Most of this I learned from looking outward of what people think of friends. When you hear them, yeah, you are not my friend or that person's friend. When you wait, when they're not there, for you to criticize them or expect me to jump in and have a conversation. Although your friend mightn't see your loyalty, and they can end up being disloyal to you. That happened to me. Somebody wanted me to give them the lowdown on somebody's daughter, and I said, I don't know. 2, one complete person that I would never think of, and then really good friends, and they're still tight friends with her today, but behind her back, they wanted to know the worst of her daughter and come to me. And when I refused to say it, they got mad at me. I didn't care. I stood my ground and I said, when they were all at the table, do not ask me questions about people's children who are not here. And let's have lunch. And that is what I did. You know, I lost some friends along the way, but I wasn't going to do that. My friend, in turn, is friends with them as tight as ever, but I cannot do that. If I did that, I would be like them, and I can't be like them. I still maintain I am her friend. I am her friend when she wants, but that's okay because I am who I am. So you have to remember that. So hi, Bridget, Dawn, and I say to my friend that thank you for being accountability. She's not a yes woman, but we have a very honest with each other. We must be thoughtful. Yeah, we have to. That's accepting me my visit at summertime. Opening a bottle of wine at 3 p.m. is a precious memory for me. I know, eh? I know, Yoko. Thank you, Tessa. I'm so grateful for all of you. And oh, hi, Jilly. Kathleen putting all her little things there. And expecting loyalty from others. It's important, guys. I know it's 10:33, so we have to go. But this year, it is friendship. See what you can do. Ellen said she has a friend that comes up and how she speaks. And Colin is my friend, and we see each other. Loretta is a friend. I didn't really know her. She married my cousin, so she became... Once, I think he said something to me about you act, people didn't know, they would think Loretta is your cousin. But you're my cousin, you can't change the DNA. So I really don't care. We're going to be cousins no matter what. You'll show up when I die. But whatever. But Loretta is the one I have to cultivate the friendship with. And this is what I chose to do. So we have this friendship, we have this bond that she would do things for me that sometimes I don't expect. But I'm there for her. And I'm louder, I'm more forceful, I'm more determined than her in several different ways. And it works for us. And that's what's important. So, Ellen, like you said, expecting loyalty from human is such a strain, it brings hardship. It does. If you expect the person to reciprocate like you would for them, they often don't. But you cannot change the color of the beast. You can't change people's ways. And sometimes they don't even know what they're doing. If you want to feel good, you're going to hang with those that makes you and others feel bad. If the first thing somebody has to say to you is to criticize you when they see you to the point that you have to look at them and go, why? I would never criticize you or your children. Why you're doing it to me and mine? Loretta says that. Or she says, love me, love my something. I don't know. Loretta has all these sayings. I don't understand half of them. So love me or love what's mine. But some people don't do that. They are close. And somebody said to me, I know this hurts you, that you stood up for your friend and she never stands up for you. I said, no, it doesn't hurt me. But she said, they behave like a group of people and that person was slightly on the outside. So when I am amongst them, I just let them do their thing. And when that one isn't there and they criticize them, I allow them to do that. I said, well, I am not joining in. So we have to look at friendship differently. And we have to remember to stay who we are. That is what is important. When they tell you you're doing too much for your children or your friends or your family, then just accept them. That's their opinion. But that same person will say to you, oh, how come you have such a nice relationship with your children and your grandchildren? And you're looking at them and they're saying, well, look at how you talk about people's children and grandchildren. How can you have anything better than you wish for others? If you told them that, they would be devastating. I get that all the time. Oh, Tessa-Marie, I'm so envious of your relationship with your children. Children are different. Even disciplining them are different. Some you never had to discipline. Others, they couldn't hear, they had to feel. Some of them, feeling didn't mean anything. What they heard affected them more. So you have different types of things, but people will tell you that. How come? Because I broke my neck, I slipped and slid in snow to get to parent-teachers night. I showed up at all kinds of recitals. Some of them were just too funny not to laugh. And it wasn't hee-hee, it was ha-ha. And, I was there. They knew I was there. And you did your best. So, therefore, you also showed your children how to behave towards you by how you behave towards your elders, your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles. If you showed respect to them and you honored them and you phoned them and had a friendship, not a parentship, your children are going to do the same with you. So if that person that is telling me, are you going to see Michael? And you said for 2 weeks with him and his wife, how was that? What do you mean, how was that? I had to ask, how was that? Because I didn't know what they were trying to say. Of course I knew. I was just trying to force them to speak. Well, a daughter-in-law and in their house. I said, wherever I am. That was my answer. I said, I didn't put happy and grateful before that, but I said, wherever I am is amazing, beautiful, and spectacular. And when you are somewhere where you're feeling you a little bit out of it, remember to connect in the moment and say, wherever I am is amazing, beautiful, and spectacular. And that will take you through the rest of the time there. Have a great day. Love you. Or others to be like us. No, we can't. No. Thank you, Ellen, for all of your comments. Stacy and all of Yuko and your wine. I saw a shirt when I was in PA and they just didn't have your size. It said, save water, drink wine. I wanted to get one for you and one for Stacy, but they didn't have your sizes. So anyway, take care, wonderful people, and have a great day. Love you. Bye-bye.